Good morning, my dearest children. How are you all? Hope you are all fine and safe at home. Today, in English language, I am going to continue with the same chapter, Comparison of Adjectives. In the previous class, we had discussed about kinds of adjectives. Kinds of adjectives, 6 kinds of adjective we did. Adjectives of quality, quantity, numbers, demonstrative, interrogative and possessive. I am sure you still remember. Yes, children? And we had done comparison of adjectives. The 3 main comparison of adjectives are positive, comparative and superlative. So today we are going to continue with the same chapter, but today we are going to do with quality and quantity. Adjectives of quality and quantity. What is quality? You know, I already explained. It answers the question, what kind of a person or thing he or she is. Quantity answer the question of how many. But how is adjectives of quantity and quality is used in comparison? So I am going to discuss here how these two are used when we compare things or people. Okay? I'll write on the board to explain to you. The box was as heavy as lead. Okay? As heavy as plus adjective plus as. The pattern is as adjective of quality as lead. The comparison between the box and the lead, they are the same. The weight they have were the same. Okay? The box was as heavy as lead. Okay? So, the comparison between the two. Another example I am going to give you here. Number 1, the princess looked as beautiful as the moon. Here, the comparison between the princess and the moon, they look as beautiful as. That means they are equal in beauty. See, the same pattern, as plus adjective plus as. So, the princess looked as beautiful as the moon. So, when you compare the princess with the moon, they look the same. Their beauty are equal. Alright, now look carefully in the sentence number 2. Number 2, Simi is not as tall as Remy. The comparison between these two, Simi and Remy, okay children, look here, the word not as tall as. The same pattern here, as plus adjective plus as tall is an adjective as. But the word not here. They are compared, the two are compared, but the two don't have the same quality. They are not equal. They are different. Simi is not as tall as Remy. Remy is taller than Simi. Whereas here, princess and the moon, they are the same. The beauty are the same, but in number 2, they are not the same. Do we compare them, but they are not in the same height. Understood, children? This one is quality. Okay, children? Quality. Now, quantity. Quantity. Quantity means how much. Quantity means how much. Quality means what kind. So the word or the adjective like less, okay, more, many, much, little are used to make comparison. See, quantity, less, more, many, much, little, they are also used to compare the things. How do we compare? Let me write an example here on the board. Example. Kim has more friends than Kit. See? Two of them. The comparison between Kim's friend and Kit's friend. But here, Kim has more friend than Kit. Kim has more friend than Kit. Another example. Jimmy has read fewer books than me. Comparing between Jimmy and me, Jimmy has read fewer books than me. See? Comparison between Jimmy and me, he read fewer books than me. So these word more and fewer, we use them when we compare countable nouns, okay? When we compare countables. Countable nouns. More and fewer we use when we compare countable nouns, because you can count friend, you can count books, yes, you can count them, isn't it? So more than or fewer than we use when the sentence is about countable nouns. And the word like more, look here, less and little, they are used when we compare uncountable nouns. What do we use them for? When we compare uncountable nouns. When we compare uncountable nouns. More, less, little when we compare uncountable nouns. Like for example, the pigeon eats more grains than a sparrow. Look here, children. Grains. You can count friend, you can count books, but you cannot count grain. So more grains than, see, grain is a noun here. So more than. And another example, I drink less coffee than Tarana. See here, children, less. I drink less coffee than, see, less than. Coffee you cannot count. So when you compare between Tarana and me or I drink less coffee than Tarana. So don't get confused, children. The words as beautiful as in equality, okay, in quantity we have this word less, more, many, much, little. Countable nouns we use more and fewer. Uncountable nouns we use more, less, to compare the two things. Alright, children, the book was as heavy as lead. I told you this is quality. The princess looked as beautiful as the moon. When you compare the princess and the moon, they look the same. But here Simi is not as tall as Rinki. So here not mean though they compare but they don't have the same quality. Alright, don't get confused because sometimes you have to add not if you feel like they are not in the same quality. Alright, now the word less, more, many, much, little. How do we use them? More and fewer we use when the sentence is countable nouns. We use more, less than when we talk about uncountable nouns. Okay, now there are other words like as many as many as. We use this also when we compare. As many as, we use this in countable nouns. Okay? As many as we use in countable nouns. Look here. Disha has as many toys as Anushka. See, Disha has as many toys as many toys as. Comparison between Disha and Anushka, they have the same equal amount of toys. See, as many toys as, that means Disha also has the same amount and Anushka also has the same numbers of toys, because you can count toys here, so this is countable nouns. Another one, B, I have a few diaries as, see, I have as few diaries as you. So comparison between you and me, we have the same equal amount of diaries. A few diary as you. Sorry, as few diaries as yous. Okay, children, now see, as many as countable nouns. Disha has as many toys as Anushka. I have as few diaries as you, equal amount. Do you have more also equal, less also equal amount? This is in countable nouns. Now, we use as much as much as. This one is uncountable nouns. Okay. Uncountable nouns. Let me give you example. You should drink as much water as you can. Look here. You can drink as much water as you can. You can drink as much water as you can. Number B. Shireen eats as little food as Divya. Shireen eats as little food as Divya. As little food as Divya. So the two, when you compare the two, they eat the same amount of food. So don't get confused, okay children? Countables and uncountable nouns. We are doing adjectives and you must be thinking why we are doing nouns here. But here is a comparison. The nouns come here because you have to know if it's a countable or countable, because as many as we use for countable and as much as we use for uncountables. And I am sure you must have understood the chapter children, and I am going to send a PDF file and the rules will be given there. If you have your book, you need not copy the rules, but if you don't have the book, please copy the rules. In your book, it is in page number 63 and 64, and the assignment that I have given you in the PDF file, please do it in your English language rough copy. And I just want to read one or two exercises here. Page number 62. Rewrite these sentences using as or not as I've explained to you there. That's why I explained to you all this, because it is in your book. One has been done for you. Number 1. A stormy sea is worse than a storm on land. So when you change as, you have to write a storm on land is not as bad as a storm at sea. Okay? Number 2. These days, strawberries are more expensive than guavas. So when you change and put as, not as, you have to write now. Here in this number 2 you have to write, you have to add not. These days guavas are not as expensive as strawberries. Alright, these days guavas are not as expensive as strawberries. There are number 1 to 10 in page number 62. Please do it in your English language rough copy. Okay children, bye bye, take care, see you next week.